So over the last 6 months, we've had amazing feedback from the Masters of Physio students from universities across Canada asking for coaching around how to negotiate their first contract. We've had it with chiropractic students from CCMC, Western States, and even OT students from across Canada as well. They're in their last placement or preceptorship, and it's how do I negotiate a contract with an employer? We know that the market for allied health professionals in Canada, well over 3,000 jobs for PTs, chiros, OTs across Canada right now, and you might have multiple offers, and how do I quantify and qualify the offers that are on the table? And that's the feedback that we've had from our audience. So we're happy to put out the video today. We'll give you the 5 insights on how to successfully negotiate your first contract. The first point always is understanding your audience and understanding where your employer, your potential employer, places value. And their value would be on how do they continue to make cash at the end of the day to keep the doors open, and what do they value in their client experience, what do they value in their clinical outcomes in terms of 7 visits or more for an extended health patient, how do they keep their no-show cancellation rates under 12%. So understanding what your employer values and what they're paying for is going to be important for how you're going to show up, and where do you place value, and do the values between self, you as the healthcare practitioner, and the employer, if you get an overlay on the purpose and the impact and the value that you can create. If there's synergies there, you've got a good starting point to understand that this could be a great place for you to work. And then you go into negotiating the contract. So knowing your self-worth and what you want to make in the first year or the second year. If you're looking to make $90,000, how can that happen in the context of the 4 walls that are the employer that you're choosing? So hopefully that helps a little bit on understanding who your audience is. So one last point on understanding your audience. Most employers will have this axiom of, if you invest in me and my clinic, I will invest in you. And I hope from your perspective that your self-worth isn't tied directly to net worth and the value of the contract. There are many other intangibles or qualitative pieces that you must consider when you're looking at the broader spectrum of trying to win. The second insight we'll go through with you is on your contract terms. There's 4 main ones that we'll unpack with you: compensation, non-solicitation, non-compete, and termination. They are straightforward typically. We don't usually get tripped up on these 4, but important to make sure that we've got you in the lowest risk possible as you work through the contract piece itself. The third insight, and it's probably the biggest of the insights, and that's all around pay models and earning potentials. How do you understand what your potential for earnings are, and how do you understand the components of which your earnings or your potential to earn are based on? So typically we'll have an hourly, a salary, a fee for service as an employee, and then there'll be an option to be an independent contractor. We'll come to those points in just a minute, but what we're trying to unpack is what is the true value of 42% as an employee, when you know that that is the split that you will be paid on, hopefully 100% of your it could be billables or receivables. Sometimes a company will have an admin fee that's added into your contract, where you might be making 42% of 95% of your billings and not 100% because a 5% admin fee is being held back. That's more and more common across the country now, as employers are trying to hold on to their bottom line to keep the doors open. The fourth insight we'll share with you is what are the differences and advantages of either being an independent contractor, an IC, or an employee. So giving you the high level look at what the CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, the place where we get taxed, sets up for an IC. You can be a proprietor, you can incorporate. what do all these things mean as an advantageous piece to you? So being aware that an IC typically pays rent, they bring their own equipment, they might have a higher split, but they have risk associated with that split. They have to work in at least 2 places to earn income for them to be deemed an IC. So there's lots of things to understand from an IC perspective. There's a lot to understand from the employee perspective, from the benefits that are cost to the employers in terms of stat pay, in terms of vacation, in terms of medical leave, in terms of health and dental benefits, and understanding that component as a comparison between an employee and an IC. When we jump into total rewards as the 4th insight, it might give you a more fulsome look at what the compensation and rewards look like from an employee, because they're usually more enhanced on an employee side than they are on an IC side. So typically an IC, if we start there, an independent contractor, they will be paying for mentorship. They'll pay for their education, their growth and development, their costs to the IC. On an employee side, and this is all part of my earlier comment that your net worth should not be your self-worth, because there are components within the owner and the clinic that you're choosing to put roots down as your first job. These are, how do I get my mentorship? What does it look like? It should be a free component to the employee. It's a cost to the IC. The growth and development for education, what tools do you want to add to your tool belt? Are you going to go the manual therapy route? Are you going to go McKenzie? Are you going to go to a stroke route, whatever the case might be? But these are the components of the compensation total rewards that an employer will have for you if you are an employee. They could be paying for a license for you for your college. They could have a relocation component as well. So many different factors that go into total rewards. So that basically sums up the insights that we have for you. So at a high level, we've provided you with the 5 insights that'll help you successfully negotiate your first contract. The service that we're offering to the new grads is a 2 times 45-minute session. The first 45-minute session should be before you have your offers, so that we can take you through the better understanding of what contract terms could be, the insights that we've just outlined. The second 45 minutes we spend with our new grads are looking at the competing offers that they've got for where they're going to spend their first job. So it's good to have the base level understanding as the first 45 minutes, and then the second 45-minute session is looking at and vetting one contract against another. My hope is that the 5 insights that were shared on this video were helpful to you. What we are offering for the new grads is a 2 times 45-minute session, with the first 45 minutes going through an in-depth look at the 5 insights that we briefly covered on the video today, and that's paired with a second 45-minute meeting once you've got 1, 2, 3 competing offers to come in, and we can help validate what we believe is the best offer for you, both from a purpose, impact, cultural, the qualitative piece, but also the quantitative piece, and how do you pair the value of the contract from a total rewards perspective with the qualitative piece of just feels right. This feels like the clinic that I want to be attached to, and the owner that is going to develop you as you become a great practitioner and on that transition from a new grad. So this is Gary from Elevate Practice Intelligence. Again, a big shout out to all of the students that left us feedback that I've talked to. These sessions that we're launching in 2024 are going to be more helpful to the front end, the new grads, but also the practitioners that have come out at 0 to 2 years, and they're looking help for caseload management, practice management, time management. There'll be a second video coming to the website around the 0 to 2 year practitioner. We'll have that up in the next few days as well. So thank you again for the feedback. Much appreciated from our end, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.